Hi, I'm Carissa Johnson, and thank you for joining me on this presentation on the benefits and profitability of inclusion-based programs post-COVID-19. First, I'd like to share with you a little bit about my professional development and how I opened Spectra Gymnastics. So I am the proud owner of my gymnastics studio called Spectra Gymnastics, and we are located in Portland, Oregon. And I am also the author of the SpectrAbilities online training platform. So as I've opened Spectra, this journey has led me to a lot of opportunities to be involved in a variety of organizations that are advocating for inclusive services, which is my passion. Currently, I serve on the board of directors with Autism Society of Oregon, which is a nonprofit organization that provides free services to families and individuals impacted by autism. I've been with them on the board for about 3 years, and it's been a really great experience, and I really enjoy being actively involved in my direct community. I'm also the author of SpectrAbilities, and I'll talk more about that in our presentation today. I offer consulting and training services. I can provide on-site training workshops or virtual workshops with advice and mentorship on how to develop programs that best fit your business's needs in the inclusive realm. I've had the pleasure of traveling to Spokane Gymnastics to work with that team on developing an adaptive special needs program. And I've also traveled to Vancouver, Canada to work with Tumbletown and Aqua Adventures, consulting with them on inclusive services as well. I work very closely with TumbleTrack as an ambassador and enjoy promoting their special needs line of equipment that is designed for all ages and abilities. And I always travel to the Sensory Processing Disorder Symposium with them every year, which has been a great experience to work directly with occupational therapists and sharing with them how beneficial the TumbleTrack equipment is to a variety of neurodiverse individuals. I thoroughly enjoy public speaking and now virtually speaking. I've traveled to Gymnastics Australia to share my company with that audience. I've presented with Gymnastics BC on their inclusion programs. I enjoy speaking for USA Gymnastics. Locally, I have spoken at Portland State University to college students, specifically in psychology programs, and most recently enjoy giving virtual webinars. A little bit about my journey with Spectra. We opened our doors in July of 2014, and we just celebrated our 6th year birthday, but here's how we got there. I started coaching when I was about 19 years old in 2002, and at that facility, it was very small. It's actually where I trained as a kid, and I taught everything. I taught preschool, I taught rec, I taught their pre-team, I taught compulsory, I ran birthday parties, open gym, I did everything. And through that experience, I met my first student who was impacted by autism. And that experience forever changed me, and it also inspired me to learn more about autism and learning differences. So as I went to college, I decided to study psychology, child development, and have an emphasis on autism whenever I could. During college, I worked at a local gym as the preschool program assistant manager, and then as I was preparing to graduate, I tried to retire from coaching and entered the field of ABA therapy, which is applied behavior analysis. And this is a behavioral intervention that primarily serves people with autism. And at that time, in 2008, ABA therapy in Oregon was not approved or recognized by insurance companies. And so our clients paid out of pocket and the economy crashed. And so that impacted my income. So I decided to go back into coaching and not retire and return to the previous company I worked at in college and became their preschool program manager. And during my time there, I had the wonderful experience of opening a special needs program for them, and we established that in 2009. I also continued my work in ABA therapy, and that combined experience of combining therapeutic aspects into the gym, behavioral strategies, positive reinforcement, physical movement, sensory input. I really learned what a magical experience that can be for our students. So that journey landed me into opening Spectra in 2014. I had a great opportunity that I couldn't pass up, and it was such a blessing. And since then, we have expanded our programs. Prior to COVID, we served nearly 150 students at our facility. We opened a specialized preschool program that we operated in the mornings, and we were shut down due to government regulations in late March of this year, 2020, and did a successful reopening at about 50% capacity June 8th of this year. And I'm feeling really optimistic about the future, and I'm really excited to share my insights with you, and hopefully you will have some takeaways of how you can use some of these ideas or programs to bring in additional programs, students, and revenue streams that you weren't generating before. At Spectra, we cater to neurodiverse learners. Primarily, we work with students who are impacted by autism, ADHD, sensory processing disorder, oppositional defiant disorder, Down syndrome, intellectual disabilities, genetic disorders, as well as developmental delays. When we talk about neurodiversity, it is commonly described as a societal concept identifying and accepting that all individuals have differences in our cognition, our abilities, and our brain development. Advocates of neurodiversity promote equality and inclusion for all individuals across the entire human race. At Spectra, we're very proud to say that we cater to neurodiverse learners, and all of us as a team try really hard to create a culture of people in our community thinking about brain development, ability variances, and overall differences as a spectrum of abilities, not a spectrum of disabilities. We understand that people will have difference in their abilities, people will have different strengths as well as weaknesses across all areas of development, and this is okay. At Spectra, we operate under these fundamental 3 core modalities: therapeutic, recreational, and social play. The therapeutic benefits of our programs provide many students to engage in sensory input, learn communication skills, learn motor planning skills, emotional regulation strategies, in a really fun, engaging environment. We have a highly trained team of staff members. We use a variety of adaptive teaching techniques as well as positive behavioral supports. And another therapeutic aspect of our programs is that our gym is filled with therapeutic grade equipment. And as I mentioned, being an ambassador of Tumble Track, their sensory line of equipment has multiple therapeutic benefits, and I'll talk more about that in upcoming slides. Our recreational modality includes Spectra cultivating a non-competitive culture among students, teachers, and parents. We work really hard to provide a fun learning environment for any student at any stage of development or ability. We do this by offering adaptive class options. We play non-competitive recreational games and activities. We use skill breakdown techniques and adaptations to help set every student up for success. And we really try to celebrate the proud moments of our students rather than focusing on their physical performance. In the social modality, these programs nurture and facilitate social interactions among family members, siblings, and peers. We have a peer matching system to help properly place students with similar abilities into classes so that they can all learn at that same learning rate and learn the same set of skills. We have offered gym playdates where we pair two kids up and we use the gym as a vehicle to teach play skills and with gross motor movement. That's been highly successful. Through our SpectrAbilities platform, we have a social curriculum and lesson plans to target specific social skills in private lessons, sibling lessons, semi-privates, and our group classes. And through this part of our modalities, we focus on teaching and facilitating specific social interactions so students can feel set up for success. Upon reopening, these are the current programs that we are offering at Spectra, and so far they have been going really, really successful. Previous to COVID, we had many more classes, and we also offered a specialized preschool, but under our government regulations right now, being in phase 1, we are only able to offer limited class and camp options, and so we've been really strategic about how we're scheduling those and what we're going to offer to make sure that we can continue this reopening at a successful pace. For our summer camps, we offer 4 themes, and these themes run Monday through Friday just for 1 week, and I'll share more about our schedule and age groups. But the summer camp themes are fostering friendships, yoga and mindfulness, sensory seekers camp, and then a kinder prep camp. On the weekends, we offer very limited classes, and those are inclusion classes. So on Saturdays and Sundays, we offer private and semi-private classes. We offer sibling lessons, as well as small group classes based on loose age brackets, and we call all of our group classes Fostering Friendships. In our camp programs, the Kinder Prep Camp is targeted for kids between 4 to 6 years old who are preparing to transition into kindergarten. There's a really high demand for that, especially as schools have been closed and many are not reopening in the fall. So you'll see a little picture of this student, and he is set up in his individual workspace. This is their learning time. He's got his own water bottle, and he's working on some fine motor and art projects with his color crayons. The other camp that we offer that's very, very popular is called Fostering Friendships. This is for students who can do really, really well in a group setting, but they may need smaller ratios and extra support learning and facilitating those specific social skills. So Fostering Friendships is one of our most popular summer camp programs, and Kinder Prep, I'm learning, is becoming in more and more demand. This is the first summer we've offered it, but it's been super successful this far. Yoga and Mindfulness is another new camp program that we've tried this year, and our staff feedback is really good. The students have responded really, really well, and so we hope to be able to continue that in the fall and upcoming months as well. In yoga and mindfulness, we incorporate a lot of gymnastics and activities, but through our stretching or calming activities or transition activities and even art activities, we will incorporate different yoga poses and breathing exercises to teach kids over time specific strategies that will help them learn how to emotionally regulate and also understand their emotions as they continue to develop. In our Sensory Seekers program, that camp targets kids that really crave big movements and sensory input in their bodies. So you'll see one of our students here, and he's on our vestibular swing, and he's got a big smile on his face because he's really happy to be back at the gym, and his body really craves these big movements on the swing or on the trampoline. So that swing's actually one of his favorites. So through all of these camps, we can really hit a very diverse group of learners each week that we offer them. This is our schedule and pricing information. In the mornings, we rotate the themed camps every week. So one week we'll offer kinder prep, the next week it will be yoga, the next week it'll be fostering friendships, and we do that throughout the entire summer. But in all of our AM camps, those are always for ages 4 to 6 years old. So our AM camp schedules from 9 to noon, so our camps are half day. The PM camp schedule is for kids that are older in early elementary school, so generally between the ages of 6 to 13 years old, and that camp runs from 1 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. We have a maximum capacity of 8 students per camp. We charge $300 per student for the full week, Monday through Friday, of attending 3 hours a day. We staff it with 2 instructors, and with those 8 kids, we split them into groups of 4 so we can keep the cohorts of 4 consistent each week that we're offering camp. Our general camp schedule involves a check-in, screening questions of COVID or symptoms, and we're also currently required to log temperatures of every person that enters our building. Then we are teaching students to find their green zone space. So they go into the gym, they put their belongings away, or they go into their area, and then they will do some greeting activities facilitated by their instructor. During that time, students create a visual schedule with pictures of what the sequence of events are for that day. That will include structured obstacle courses, snack time, craft time that always relates to the themed camp. So if they're doing a yoga camp, we're doing yoga crafts. If they're doing a sensory seeker camp, we're doing sensory-based crafts. We facilitate and play games, offer additional gym time towards the end of camp, and then say goodbye. And we find we've been offering these types of camps and this camp structure for 6 years. We feel very confident in the way that we time, price, and structure our camps. Our kids are generally set up to be highly successful, and because of that, we have a lot of returning camp kids every week. On the weekends, with our group classes, we call all of our group classes Fostering Friendships. Here's some additional information on them. So our Fostering Friendships 1 is ages 3 to 4 generally. Fostering Friendships 2 would be ages 4 to 6, so that's preschool age or kinder age. Fostering Friendships 3 is generally when students move into elementary, so usually between 1st and 3rd grade. Then we would graduate students into Fostering Friendships 4, which is generally grades 3 through 5. And then we would graduate students into our Teens and Tweens Fostering Friendships 5 program. Currently, because of different cleaning requirements upon reopening, we are only running classes at 45 minutes, so no more 60-minute classes, and that allows our staff to be able to do proper cleaning procedures in between each group of classes. With a 45-minute class that meets once a week, we charge $110 a month, and that is a ratio of 4 students to 1 instructor. With our private lessons, we target individual goals. Currently, again, those are 45-minute lessons once a week. We charge $155 a month. We have very limited availability, but through private lessons, we are able to cater to the individual needs of students of all ages and abilities. We also offer limited semi-private lessons. This is a great option for students who need to be carefully peer matched in a small group setting. This helps support transitions for students to enter larger group classes in the future. And we charge $138 a month for a semi-private lesson. And that ratio would be anywhere from 2 students to 1 instructor to 3 students and 1 instructor. And again, that's 45 minutes once a week. Sibling Lessons is a really unique program that we offer and something I wanted to spend some time talking about because as we're reopening and having new ways of thinking and adapting, figuring out what's going to work for our facilities, I'm learning that family-focused programs is something that people are very interested in. So we offer sibling lessons. We've done that for several years. However, we are getting more and more inquiries about this specific type of class. Essentially, this is a semi-private lesson, but it is built specifically for an individual family's unit. The ratios are going to vary based on the number of children that each family has. Most commonly, we have a 2-to-1 ratio of siblings. We're offering, again, 45-minute lessons once a week. We charge $155 for the first child, and any additional sibling will be charged $110 a month. So it's a very small group class, but the pricing structure still supports a good profit margin. There's a lot of benefits and value to the sibling lessons, especially for the clients and families you're serving. These weekly classes specifically target skills that individual family needs to work on. So we always do an intake. Right now we're doing virtual intakes or interviews with new families, and we will learn about their history, each individual's interests and goals, and then through that information, we will develop specific targeted activities to help teach and facilitate those goals. And all of that information is embedded into that SpectrAbilities platform that I'll talk a little bit more about. We've had a lot of success with our sibling lessons, and if any of you are thinking about starting up an adaptive or inclusive program, I really recommend trying to start out with this type of program. It's unique, it's in high demand, and you can price it well to still gain a lot of profit for your monthly revenue stream. In the fall, we will be adding new programs. Because we're unable to reopen our specialized preschool, we're going to continue to offer our kinder prep camp, and that will cater to students that should be working on transitioning into kindergarten in the fall, or maybe should be entering kindergarten and are unable to do that in person. We expect that because most preschools will not be opening in the fall or possibly even in the winter, the demand for supplemental programs and social input will be in really high demand. In addition to our kinder prep camp that we're going to run every morning, in the afternoons we are going to add in a tutor and tumbling program, and you can see our promotional flyer up on the screen. I haven't completely finalized our pricing on that yet, and so that's not listed in this presentation, but I will announce that on our website, so you can always check back on our website at another time if you wanted more information. This program is going to target the benefit of pairing movement, structured social time, and learning and educational time all into one experience with very, very small groups and the same cohorts of students throughout the entire session. We're going to structure these students in groups of 4 to 1 instructor. We're going to pair them up in loose grade brackets. And so we'll have a tutor and tumbling class for first and second graders blended. We'll have a tutoring and tumbling class for third and fourth graders blended, and so on. So brand new program that we're still working out the final details on, but I did want to take time to mention it because I think everybody right now is thinking about how to supplement the virtual school scenario and just the impact that's having on all of these families. And so finding a way to bring the tutoring into the gym, because movement is so important for so many students. Not just neurodiverse students, but all kids really benefit from moving their bodies before they sit down and have to do academic work. And so the gym environment, I think, is a perfect setup for being able to offer both of those. And I think that's going to really provide a lot of value to the families that are currently in your facility or seeking new services. Here's a general overview of some revenue examples that we had prior to our COVID shutdown. Spectra is a very small facility. We're very specialized, and so we operate and rely on providing classes with small student to teacher ratios, but we do have to price those higher in order to be able to make a profit and keep our business alive and thriving. On average, we bring in about $25,000 a month in our revenue and tuition. During the summers, from June to August, we averaged approximately $20,000 total in our summer camp revenue, and that was only offering half-day programs. This summer, upon reopening, we've doubled it and offered our AM half-day and also a PM half-day. And that has been extremely successful in keeping us financially stable through this time. Prior to COVID, an average student at Spectra paid approximately $179 in monthly tuition. That's just an average, and so that's a much higher price point than an average preschool or recreational student. So again, another reason why I think this is a really important time to consider adding in inclusive services, because if you do it right and access all of the new resources that are available to you now, I think that a lot of facilities can be very successful in this process. And it can benefit you and bring in extra money, which we all really need right now as we're operating at a less capacity. In average, our half-day camps would bring in between $2,200 to $3,000 per week. And again, that's just 3 hours a day. And so again, the profit margin is really high. And those were offered during any school closure. So winter break, spring break, and then summer. Here's a few success stories that we've had in the past. Just again to show you that bringing in one family into this program can provide valuable additional revenue for your company. For example, we had a family that decided to enroll in weekly private lessons 3 times a week, and that family's monthly tuition was approximately $530 a month, and that was just again from one student who came in 3 hours a week. We had another family that enrolled in our preschool program 3 days a week, liked it so much that they wanted their sibling to come in and signed up for a sibling lesson. And so as that family continued to add services with us, their monthly tuition was $982. And again, that's just from one family with 2 students. Another example is a student has enrolled their child in 1 private lesson a week and 1 group class a week. And that total monthly tuition for that one student is $315 a month. So hopefully this gives you a really clear picture of how you can structure and price inclusive programs ethically, but also have a financially stable model. Some benefits of inclusive programs include, first of all, these programs have always been in high demand, but right now, going through COVID, these programs are even in more high demand. Through all of the government shutdowns, many therapies as well as public education has suddenly ceased for many families, and these families who are raising children impacted by a variety of developmental or intellectual disabilities need these physical outlets to keep their kids happy, emotionally regulated, engaged, thriving, learning. And the gymnastics environment is really, really great, specifically to help supplement therapies such as occupational therapy. And I'm not saying that any of us should promote ourselves to being OTs. We are not OTs, but I really want to recognize that the gymnastics equipment provides many, many therapeutic benefits to students. Just through jumping on the trampoline, students are getting proprioceptive and vestibular input that their bodies are craving. Through swinging on the bars and the rings or rolling, students are learning blah, 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 cut all of that out. So I just want to be really clear that we do not act. I want to be clear to make sure that I am not promoting that these types of programs are occupational therapy, but it can definitely benefit students who are currently in those therapies and need continued outlets physically. Families right now are desperate. They need help, they need support, and they need healthy physical outlets for their children. With inclusive programs, I believe that there are benefits to everybody involved. Inclusive programs and staff training helps mature your staff's professional development, and it also helps you as an organization build community and public relations. As I've mentioned, it can provide additional profitability for your gym. The pricing structures and class structures that I've shared with you, I have been operating for 6 years, so I feel like they are very solid and proven, at least in my experience, to be successful and a great opportunity for you to add in extra revenue into your company. And finally, with all of the new guidelines that many of us, if not all of us, are required to follow right now, the inclusive programs that I've described are naturally very COVID friendly or COVID compliant. So, meaning we offer very small groups of 4 students, which allows us to adhere to social distancing requirements, as well as keep the cohorts of students consistent throughout the week. We also offer family options, and as families are slowly reintegrating back into the public, we're finding that many parents are most comfortable coming back into our gym with that sibling class option before they go right back into a group class. So this is a great way with that sibling program to retain or regain previous clients with this new type of class if they have been apprehensive of going back to a class they were previously enrolled in. So how can you be successful adding in your own inclusive programs? First, I always recommend that you decide what programs will best fit your company. Make sure that you're thinking about what's realistic, what can you offer, do you have staff that you can train or are going to need to hire, and figure out a plan of what is going to work best at your facility. I also recommend choosing 1 to 2 programs that you want to begin and focus on as you launch an inclusion program, and over time, as you build success and clients, start building and expanding your programs from there. So if you're going to take this direction, I again would consider starting with sibling classes for many reasons, and also considered offering a half-day camp, maybe a 9 to noon camp, and you don't need to make the ratio 8 kids. Maybe just start with an inclusive camp that is 4 kids to 1 instructor and see if that was successful, and then build from there. But even with these small programs, I think these are really great steps that you can be actively taking to continue to build and expand revenue. Additionally, to be successful, I think it's really smart to work directly with local organizations to promote your program. You can talk and network with therapy clinics, your local developmental disabilities office, as well as autism organizations. And then finally, if you do decide to launch an inclusion program, whether it's one or a full program, I really recommend that you utilize the online resources through the SpectrAbilities platform, because that is a great way to train your staff remotely, continue with consistent program management and development and lesson planning. There's a variety of videos and examples and activities that you and your staff can implement immediately, as well as downloadable resources. And I've been asked for years when I'm going to develop this, and so it's really great to be working with Leap Learning and that team of content authors. And I'm excited to finally be offering the SpectrAbilities platform, because I think this has been the missing key to help others be successful as they launch these new inclusive programs. So here are some things that are working right now as we've reopened. In our programs, they are highly structured, and we depend on teaching consistent routines that adhere to the new state guideline requirements. Some examples of that is using consistent language and terminology among our staff when we're talking to our students and parents. Some examples, we call our green zone the safe zone, which I'll show you an example of, where we have green boxes that every student can sit in that are distanced apart at least 6 feet, and each instructor can walk around these spaces to make sure that they're distanced as well. And so every time a student comes into the building or comes into their class, they instantly are instructed to go to their green zone, their safe zone, and they really like knowing that they have a designated spot to go to all the time. That predictability has been really, really great. Another thing that we're doing with our language is saying that our red dots are the stop dots, and I'll explain a little bit more about that in an upcoming slide. And then in this picture, you'll see that we've created rainbow walls. They were really easy. This is just PVC pipe and sheets in different colors, and they're very lightweight, and they can be transported and moved and create physical visual walls or spaces. And that's helped us keep different groups of kids in separate areas of the gym to help make sure that we're doing everything we can to keep the social distancing in compliance with what our state is requiring. Through all of this, we are learning that our students feel really successful. They're regulated, they're calm, they're happy, and they want to come back. And so we are having a lot of students return to camp again and again and again. Because we have consistent cohorts with the way our camps are set up and the pricing structure, it's, in my opinion, helping reduce health risks, because we're keeping those cohorts the same, and because we can split kids up into groups of 4 and adequately social distance but still bring profit into the gym. And through all of this, of the consistent routines, the consistent language, the bright visuals, kids know what's expected of them. They're having fun, and like I said, they're returning week after week. And then finally, here in Oregon, most recently, our state has a new mask mandate of anybody over the age of 2 years old must wear a mask indoors, even if it's in physical activity. And so we really want to make sure that masks don't feel scary. And before I go into that, I do want to say that because of the American Disability Act, many students with special needs or disabilities may be exempt from wearing a mask. However, we are not encouraging all students to just come into the gym and not wear a mask. Many kids will bring a mask even if they can't wear it, and then we'll work on making that fun. And we also have extras on hand. And some successful things we've done are really simple. We've done an art project of having just a disposable mask that kids get to decorate with markers or stickers to make it fun. And we've also just used modeling as a strategy of, hey, look, I've got my mask on. Don't you want to be just like your teacher? And that social influence has been successful for some kids. So there's definitely students that may have higher sensory needs or communication differences and they are unable to wear a mask. That is okay. We still offer services to them. We just make sure that our staff members are masked up and doing their best to remain 6 feet or more of social distancing. But making the masks no big deal and super fun has been another great thing that has been successful. So as I mentioned, with consistent language and terminology, that's a teaching strategy that I have always recommended, and that's actually a learning chapter in the SpectrAbilities platform. But the new terminology that we've come up with upon reopening is that green zone is your safe zone. So in this picture, you can see that on our floor, every student is sitting in their own green zone and they are spaced out adequately. You see 4 spots because we don't let more than 4 kids in a group or 4 kids in one area of the gym. And then here on our chalkboard wall, you'll see just some basic terminology that our staff members are using to teach kids these new social boundaries. So the green zone is your safe zone. They love going into their green boxes. We also use language such as space bubble respecter or space bubble popper, and just talking about that, these green zone boxes is our space bubble. We want to give our friends extra space in their space bubble, and if we come too close to their space bubble, it might pop, and then we'll learn how to try again. So that terminology has been really effective. The other effective terminology we're using now as we've been reopening is the red dots equal your stop dots. And so in our gym, we have obstacle courses set up, and these are just Velcro dots that I bought on Amazon, and we specifically chose the color red, and through our obstacle course, we put a dot at the beginning and the ending of every single piece of equipment. And we are teaching students that as soon as they finish their activity, they stand on the dot, so they use their stop dot, which is naturally 6 feet apart from the next station, and we teach them to look and wait that this next station is clear before they go. And that's been another really successful teaching strategy that's helped keep the work environment safe and structured and successful. So switching gears, if you are seriously considering adding in these types of services, here are some things that I recommend to best set you up for success and your staff. The SpectrAbilities platform first is designed to train your staff, and this can be done remotely, which is very beneficial for the time that we're living in right now. You'll see a screenshot here of the different modalities or themes. If you click on the purple Educational tab, it will drop down this rainbow of courses that you can assign to each staff member to take. These courses are designed specifically to give your staff core fundamental information in a variety of different areas. So if you're going to add this program into your facility, I always recommend train your team. This is the training curriculum that I put my team through. I believe it's very comprehensive and gives a lot of important core fundamental information to all of your staff. It's also great to put any staff member through this, whether they're going to be teaching in a specialized program or not. There's a lot of tips and tricks and really important information that's beneficial for anybody working with children. So in the educational courses or the staff training courses, you can assign your team to go through the presentation and course on how to start up a special needs program, so you can learn more about my journey and experience and what you can do. The next course is Intro to Special Abilities. There's a course on safety, on behavior, on language and communication, positive reinforcement, how to go through the process of intake and class placement for new clients, as well as a course on teaching strategies for special abilities. Here are some additional examples of our platform and how you can train your staff. So you'll see in this how to start a special needs program. On the left here, you'll see chapters. On the right, you will see a screenshot of a different course that you can assign to staff members. This is our course on intake and class placement, and the different chapters include class options, how to give a complimentary evaluation. We have now converted ours to virtual, and I will update that in that training course. How to decide the best class placement for each new family. What our new student profile checklist is, so how do you communicate to your staff on the varying abilities and personality traits and interests of any new student that a staff member will be working with, and then how to effectively implement skill tracking. And then at the end of each course, there is a short quiz that your instructors will be required to take, which shows the comprehension. So they can't pass a course and show passing unless they've passed each quiz by 100%. So this is, again, a really great way to train all of your staff with very, very valuable information that will help them be successful in any class that they teach, not just special needs. As you're training your staff, these are just other examples of different chapters. We've got our positive reinforcement, and you can see all the different categories that we go through. And on the right here in red, this is our introductory to developmental disabilities, and each chapter covers a different diagnosis. So in the therapeutic tab, here's the drop down of all of the different categories that I'd mentioned. So if you, for example, you click on sensory, you will see, and this is what you can assign to your staff, you will see different cautions about sensory seeking and sensory defensive students, and then different categories on different aspects of sensory integration. So if you or a staff member wanted to learn more about sensory integration, you can click on these obstacle courses, and it will show you an overview of what these activities are, the core concepts, the developmental stage that best fits that learner, and then video examples of how to use this strategy and information in the gym. And here you'll see there's a lot of different video examples, and then a quick acknowledgement test. And if you click the next tab, you'll go straight into the next sensory chapter of this category. So here's balance beam information, and it goes on and on. When thinking about the different therapeutic benefits that these programs can offer in addition to the financial benefits, Tumble Track again is my favorite company for sensory integration equipment. Here on the right, you'll see a few of my favorites. The reason why I highly recommend these core pieces of equipment is because they provide multiple therapeutic benefits to students of, again, all ages and all abilities. The wavy walk is at the top of my list, and that is a balance beam, but it's special because it has different tactile bumps of dots and lines on the entire thing. It has interlocking pieces and segments, and so you can change and adapt the way you set that up. You can put a segment of just 2 wavy walk sections to create a short walking space. You can alternate the textures for a different sensory experience. You can make them parallel. You can do so many things with the wavy walk, and it's a piece of equipment that we utilize every day. I also love the air barrels because you can suspend them as swings. You can use them as a tumbling or foundational training piece of equipment, or you can use it as a sensory integration component of your class. The fitness wheel is one of my very favorites. It is probably the most versatile piece of equipment, and I love that it's an air product. You can easily clean it, which is great in our new environment of having to make sure our equipment is sanitized frequently. You can use it for students who have gravitational insecurity, as well as students who are craving that input. You can use it with both chambers inflated, or you can drop it down to just one. You can also suspend it to make it a swinging platform or pendulum. And then we also love to tip it upside down and put a parachute over it and create kind of a cozy corner or a sensory break for the kids, and they absolutely love that. So the fitness wheel is probably the piece of equipment that I most highly recommend if you're considering starting inclusion programs, because you can use it in so many different ways. I also recommend the Power Launch. This is a picture of the Power Launch without the carpet overlay. We've taken our carpet overlay off of our Power Launch because it's easier to clean, but it's another great piece of equipment to provide that sensory input, the proprioceptive input that so many of these students crave. It's also great because you can use it across any athlete that's at your gym, from preschoolers to all abilities to competitive athletes. And then one of their more simple products that I cannot live without is their Velcro numbers. And that's because our students really rely on visual supports to keep them focused and remembering what's next in the sequence. And we have 2 sets of the Velcro numbers because, again, they are so important. And they are vinyl, so they're easy to clean during this time. So those are my favorite pieces of therapeutic grade equipment. Right now, during National Congress, anybody that is attending, you get a 20% discount on tumble track equipment. So make sure to check out their virtual booth if you can. But if you can't make it to the virtual booth, they are offering a different discount throughout August. That's 15% that will be after your Congress. And additionally, through the SpectrAbilities subscription, if anybody does decide to give that a try, you get exclusive discounts for purchasing tumble track equipment as a subscriber to SpectrAbilities. Here are a couple pictures of us using the Power Launch and the fitness wheel in different ways. On the left, this is the Power Launch with the carpet overlay, but what you'll see is pictures Velcroed to it with different items that we have in the gym. And so we play different recreational games, matching games. We can put emotion cards on there or Velcro numbers. And through that Power Launch, we can teach kids not just gymnastic skills, but also cognitive skills, language development skills, social skills. And so it's really fun to look at this piece of equipment that some people might use for tumbling skills, and here you can use it in a different type of program targeting a completely different skill set. And then on the right, you'll see the fitness wheel. It's tipped upside down. We've got a parachute over it in case students want to cover their face with parachute and take some dark, quiet time. And then there's a bucket of different sensory toys in there. So there's bubbles, there's a stress ball to squish, and there's also a Ziploc baggie of Floam and rice. And so kids can choose if they need to take a break or if they're feeling overwhelmed or overstimulated, they can go into that space and take the time that they need to decompress and regroup, and then hopefully be able to come to class successful. Some of the teaching strategies I always train on is visual supports, and here's a picture of just how we set up some of our visual supports. That you can see dots and stars, really easy to clean, and they're great for placing through obstacle courses to teach kids how to stop, how to go, how to wait. You also see stop, go, slow signs, and then our fitness wheel that we use all the time. So using these types of visual supports help set your students up for success. They're easy to clean as our sanitation regulations have changed, and I highly recommend all of these products. Moving into the recreational modality, here's some really adorable pictures of our kids just enjoying the recreational benefits of inclusion programs and our equipment. So you'll see a little boy enjoying our vestibular swing with the biggest smile on his face because he's so happy to be back at the gym. We took this picture on the first day that he came back after our reopening. He ran straight to that swing and moved as fast as he could on that, and you could just tell that he really missed being in his happy place and moving his body in ways that not only his body craves, but they feel really good to him. In the SpectrAbilities platform, we have the recreational modality with resources, and this is just an example of different things that we teach through our games. So again, non-competitive programs, we focus on collaboration and teamwork, not competitiveness. And we have a variety of progressional games and examples and video models. So we have reciprocal games and activities, early play, cooperative games, games that will help teach emotional regulation strategies, problem-solving skills, and imaginary play. So this really supports different areas of development that these students need and that they're definitely not going to be getting at school nearly as much, if at all, due to the virtual learning style and not having peers to practice with. With our social modality, we really focus again on facilitating specific social skills. This is an example of the different categories of social skills that we teach. We teach students how to give greetings and goodbyes to their teachers and friends in class. We play conversation games, teach kids how to access flexible thinking skills, teach them about positive self-talk. This is really important because a lot of students in our program have lower self-esteem, and so when we're in the gym and we see those moments happening, we can teach them how to think about things differently, how to engage in positive self-talk and scripts and phrases, and over time it's really been an amazing process of teaching kids and truly building their inner self-confidence. Building on that, we teach leader and listener skills, so kids learn how to take a leadership role with peers, and again, that really complements the confidence building aspect that we're trying to cultivate in each and every student. And then building on that, we advance to teaching students how to engage in giving other people friendly thoughts. So if you were going to actually implement this type of curriculum into your facility, you would click on this Friendly Thoughts category. It'll give you a little description of what Friendly Thoughts is. And then here you can click on some themed activities that are directly related to that specific targeted social skill. So here's your overview, core concepts, developmental stage, an explanation of how to play. Here's a video on the description of how to play. You have a list of your props and how to prepare. And then there's a video series with examples of how to actually teach this class. And I'll play it really quickly for you.
This is an example of our Friendly Thoughts relay. We like to explain this activity to the children by describing that they will make their thoughts talk, meaning that when they're thinking about something friendly to say to their friend, they're actually going to tell that thought with their words to their partner. First, you'll set up this station in a circuit. In this example, you'll see our station is set up next to a trampoline circuit. The blue stars indicate where the waiting spots could be. Please note that they are on each side of this speech bubble prop. You will have your first student wait at the back end star, and your second student will wait at the front beginning part of this activity. The first student pushes the mat and the talker down to the second student. The second student is waiting for the talker. The first student will tell a friendly thought. If you need to, please help your student think about something simple and kind to say to their partner. Then, the first student will move on to the next station in the circuit. In this example, that is the trampoline, something that they can independently do on their own. The second student will push the talker up to the third student waiting on their star. The second student will tell a friendly thought and go to the trampoline circuit station. You'll repeat this activity until everybody's had a turn.
Chris, you're going to push this mat all the way down to your brother, and when it gets to him, you're going to hold up your talker thought bubble and say another friendly thought. Yeah. Okay? And then you're gonna walk back around, back to your star, and then Riley, it's your turn to push it all the way down. And what do you say to your brother? A friendly compliment? A friendly compliment or a friendly thought? We are going to grow our compliment and make it bigger. So last time we were talking about I like your shirt or I like your pants. Now let's make a bigger compliment about gymnastics. So maybe think about something really good your brother's done, or maybe give a compliment about something that they're working hard at. Okay, are you thinking about it?
Yeah.
And it's a friendly thought that's going to make your brother feel good?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. A slow train or a fast train? Oh, a fast train! Oh, a slow train.
I love the way you do forward rolls and backwards rolls.
Wow, that is a really big compliment. How does that feel?
Good.
Good. Okay, are you thinking, now go find your stars, Prudence. Are you thinking about something really big you can say to your brother? Woo!
I like how you swim.
What else is he good at?
Your backwards rolls.
So that's just a quick example of, again, how you can utilize online resources to help you successfully start up these types of programs and bring in more revenue into your facility. So in conclusion, what does all of this information mean to us? In my opinion, I believe that inclusion is the future. And by adding in these programs to your facility, it will help you create new revenue streams for families who desperately need support and resources, especially during this time. So again, the benefits for you as a business owner or manager is to bring in extra revenue while also adhering to COVID reopening or state guidelines. It will enhance the professional development of your staff. It can help you bring in new students to replace students that may not be returning yet upon closure or reopening. It's extremely rewarding to offer these programs not only for the students, but also for your staff and the community as a whole. And as a resource, the SpectrAbilities platform can help assist you in this process. I hope that you found this information valuable to you, and if you ever have questions or want to gain extra information, please contact me. My email is right here up on the screen, carissa@SpectrAPDX.com. And I'd like to quickly mention that if you are interested in accessing those online resources, Leap Learning is doing an introductory promotion right now where you just pay a one-time fee of $9.99 per program you subscribe to, and you get 1 month of access. You can add up to 3 users to figure out the goal setting, and you can start adding in your own content. So it gives you an opportunity for just $10 to really get a feel for the curriculum and to see if that would be something beneficial for you. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and thank you again for tuning in.